Alright, good. Alright, guys, just give me another 3 minutes so I finish getting everything set up. Alright, 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 alright. Alright, Hi, and welcome to My Life presents No Communication. And our guest co-host is not here yet, but today's topic is it okay to fight and argue or have conflict in front of your kids? Hi, Derek. How are you? I'm doing great. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I'm just finishing up getting set up today. So, what is going on with you? And where are you at now with that? Oh, wow. You'll get there. Um, that you have to ask a trainer because I don't know. So, growing up, did your parents fight and argue in front of you, Kurt? Or, I'm sorry, Derek, I had a dumb moment. When you were growing up, did your parents fight and argue in front of you? And how did that affect you? Did it didn't? Did it scare you? No, but when they argued, did it teach you as a child how to deal with conflict resolution? How to deal with arguing with somebody? Or did it just make you want to avoid the situation? With this whole concept of is it okay or is it not okay to argue in front of your children, there's two different levels of this or two different opinions. One is you always argue behind closed doors and you always put on the happy face in front of your children, everything's all fine and dandy. And then you have the other side who builds up so much resentment that it just snaps when they argue in front of their kids. They yell, they scream. And there's always a debate on what level of all this is healthy and which one isn't. My personal belief is you can have discussions and disagreement as long as you're keeping it at a level tone. And that's healthy to do that in front of your kids because it shows conflict resolution. Hi, Sarah. Our guest has arrived. Good. How about you? We were Derek was talking about how he didn't like it when his parents argued when he was a kid. He kind of avoided the situation in general. Yep. No. Yep. No. Derek was taught. I was asking Derek about when he was growing up, you know, did his parents argue in front of him? He said, yeah. He talked about how he avoided that situation, that it upset him. And so I just started talking about, there's two edges of the sword. There's some people that say, as parents or as adults, you don't argue in front of your kids. You always put that brave face on, you bite your tongue, and you either wait till they go to bed or you do it behind a bedroom or you do it out, somewhere where they can't hear it. And then you have the other parts of people that have just so much pent up frustration that they just can't hold it. But at the same time, there's some that believe it's good to have disagreements in front of your kids to teach conflict resolution and understand what a real healthy natural relationship is. Now, I personally believe as long as you're keeping an even tone and you're healthily discussing it and you're arguing, but you're not yelling and screaming, it's good to do that in front of your kids to show them, it's okay to disagree about something, but you don't need to yell and scream about it either. Now, my question to you is you talk about kids. Now, are you talking a particular age category and separating it from like, okay, kids and teenagers? I completely agree to the extent, if it's like a relationship issue, I think, in our household, we talk about it in a harsh tone because I want my daughter to see that, you don't, if something's bothering you, it's okay to speak it up and tell the other person and understanding. Just the car door is open and you smack your head on it. Yeah, my husband does it all the time. I leave it open by accident and he smacks his head on it and it turns into an argument. And then mom has a smart comment, well, I'm too short, so I don't hit my head on it. Or I get even smarter with them and I tell them that the hinge is busted. My kid's sarcastic, and it's my fault. I will take complete and total blame for their sarcasm because, a lot has to do with my upbringing. I grew up around teenage uncles, and I lived on a farm. So, and then from there I joined the military. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Trust me, I've learned that lesson. Oh, I'm learning that one. Well, my 6-year-old, he'll be 7 at the end of the month, is all about the Disney princesses are pretty and cute. So we're still okay. I had to laugh so hard. So this kid drives me nuts because the books he enjoys reading are things like The Fall and Decline of the Roman Empire. And like, these are his fun books. That's it. And he'll argue with the Google because mom buys the audiobooks because mom didn't like reading them in high school, more than less have to read them now as an adult. I just watched a documentary. And so right now it's the Odyssey and Iliad. And he will argue with the Google audiobook because the words don't match up in his book from what they're saying, that it's wrong. And so he was looking for a book to read because I misplaced his book. And he's going through my bookshelf in my room where my office is, and he's looking at them. And I love the Hallmark books or Debbie Maycomer books, and they're all cheesy, romance books. And he keeps looking at, he's looking at me, and I'm sitting down on the bed working on stuff for on my computer, and he's like, "Ugh, romance, yuck," throws it. Yuck, romance, ugh, ugh, and I'm just like, oh my god. He's like, find a better book. I go, no, go to your room and find one. And it's funny. I just love kids' reactions to things. So, right? So, when we're talking about this and how kids, react. No, you have, right. And, things happen. You slip in the heat of the moment. You snap on you know. And, I think the most important part is that after you're done fighting and, you take your corners and do whatever you do. Because there's times where, like, me and my husband get into a fight and he does his thing and I do my thing and cool off. Then we meet back in the middle. But I think the most important part of it is when you're done, you sit down with the kids and explain that everything's okay and explain the situation. Well, this happened, then this happened, and exactly, especially because a lot of kids are super sensitive, and they truly believe that they did something wrong when you fight, you argue, and, I'll be good," or they have and you get the other side where you get a lot of kids who, like, think they feel their need or their role is to be the referee. Yeah, right. And the big thing is too, is a lot of and I'm competitive, but, and when you get into that argument, you get in that heat of that moment, it's about resolving the issue, and I forget this a lot, personally, sometimes. It's about, you get so wrapped into yourself that it's like you know you're right, and you just gotta make sure they see that you're right, and you got Mhm. Right, exactly. And the thing is you gotta remember and think about the middle ground, how to resolve that conflict. It's not about and I know, you get tired of banging your head against the wall and, it's something stupid as picking up the sock or putting your clothes in the laundry bin, doing something over and over and over again that they're supposed to do. They used to do it when they lived at home with mommy, but they seem to forget that, they're married and well, and exactly, another thing is we gotta learn to accept what we can't control and learn to just walk away. I always use the line of, God's gonna punish the earth once they put me on. He's not gonna make another one of me, because I'm a very strong-willed person. I'm very, okay, this is my belief, this is how it's gonna be. I'm not going to be forced into believing something because you believe it. I'll listen to you as long as I understand what you're saying, but there's just some concepts, it like blows my mind some of these people, in this day and age, especially this world of everything's a conspiracy theory and, the world's flat again. It's like, really? Exactly. It's like, really? It'll never ever wrap my head around that concept that we believe the world's flat. Mhm. Exactly. As long as they have an opinion on it. Yeah, it's like the whole Roe versus Wade thing, and it was like this mass panic because, "Oh my god, abortion." It's like, nothing changes, it just means the states decide what's gonna happen. That's it. It's like, how many families fought when Trump became president because one liked him, the other one didn't. And people actually got divorced because of who became the president of the United States. Like, it did, it, yeah, there is none because there's no logic and reasoning. Right. It's just, yeah, it really, it's like, I, I guarantee you, if you Google it, there will be a list somewhere. I literally stopped Googling things because it's like a mind-numbing rabbit hole. But, and I know, particularly in my household, the biggest conflict that we had was when my kids were diagnosed with autism because of how much misconception there is out there about what causes it. And there's so much false narrative. And I had family that sat there and blamed me for it because I got my kids vaccinated. Because I chose, because it was, I told my husband that no ifs, ands, or buts. There is a set of vaccines they will get. They're not getting the elective, they're just getting the required one. And but yet, because my kids had it, it was my fault. There is some. Uh, John Hopkins Hospital, John Hopkins University has been doing a 5-year study, and they finally come out with their results. And they have proven there's the autistic gene, and it's just a mutation of a genetic marker. But also, Tylenol taken when you're pregnant and Tylenol given to young children can cause autistic symptoms. And there's actually a class action lawsuit. They found that Tylenol does something to their developing brains with the wiring, so it makes them more anxious for one and more risk taking. But yeah, it causes a lot of the symptoms and a lot of the ADHD symptoms and stuff like that. And it sucks because for years that was the only safe drug you could take when you're pregnant. The doctors told you if you get a headache, take Tylenol. And like with me, that's what I took because I get migraines and I couldn't take my medications, so I had to do something because my migraines, if I get them, my body shuts down. I'm done. Hmm. Exactly. And it's what it is. It's sad too because divorce rates are so high. Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, when you have special needs kids, your divorce rate is so much higher because you you're so stressed out, you don't go back to the basics and learn how to just deal with conflict. It's just easier to walk away than try to figure it out and fix it. Right. Go ahead. The one thing that I learned a lot, especially with, you know, um, my years in the military and then dealing with my kids was the tone of voice and how important your tone of voice is and how you use it. And one of the cool tricks that I learned to soften your tone of voice. And I know I used to get a lot of weird looks because if you actually just loosen your jaw and you wiggle your jaw, it loosens the muscles in your face and actually instantly softens your tone. When you sit there and you wiggle your jaw and your muscles in your face because your tone is affected by how tight your muscles are in your face. So when you loosen your jaw muscles and your facial muscles, it actually instantly softens your tone. I learned that one from a therapist that specializes in autism and speech. And I was sitting there playing with it. I'm like, oh my God, it actually does work. So my, yeah, it was really cool. And my daughter now, when I get a hot tone, she goes, Mom, your face muscles. Right? Ariana, smart aleck. Separate rooms or same room? Yeah. Mhm. Just remember, at least they get along. Oh, it really is. And that's the same way with with mine. Is I only intervene when that one's gonna get hurt. Hmm. No, not a problem. You go have fun. Sounds great. Have a good night. So the five tips, there's five tips that I use personally for conflict resolution are one, to be aware of your emotions. You know, if you're, the more angry or the more frustrated you get, take that time out because it just escalates the situation. And you can take that breath and take that time and regain your composure. especially when, you're arguing with your kids. This isn't just, talking about, fighting with your spouse, but, arguing with your kids too. You know, the next tip or strategy is to stay focused on the issue. Why are you fighting to begin with? What is that argument? What is that piece? What happened? What's the conflict? Don't start bringing in other things that happen down the road. Like we talked about earlier, the next one is resolving the issue and not about winning the argument. Who's got the higher ground? You know, Another one is, using this, this learn from the issue. You know, Examine yourself along with, everyone else to deal with your conflict resolution skills. And there's so many. Different scenarios. There's so many hot top typic items. And the biggest thing is co-parenting, working together as a team to agree to disagree with your and dealing with conflict. Co-parenting. Hello, how are you doing? Nice. Hello, you just missed Sarah. She had to run. Her kids were not going to bed. And we're talking about conflict resolution. And is it okay to argue and fight in front of your children or not? I personally believe that not fighting, but you can have disagreements in front of your kids. And as long as you can do it in a calm, rational manner and sit down and explain to them why, what's going on. Right, but you've been married a long time. So there's been plenty of a lot of disagreements you and your wife have had over the years. Otherwise, you would have stayed married and be happy about it. Izzy, sorry, I had to mute quick for me because we have a freak thunderstorm right now in Minnesota. And high winds, and my dog just went nuts because the Christmas decorations on the door started banging. We, oh, it does. Thank you for coming. You're always welcome on the show. I always like listening to your insights. Have a good night. That was Ron Clayton, the president of the Hope Collection. He sponsors this radio show. And not just this radio show, he sponsors the night shows, which Monday is all about self-awareness and who you are. Today is all about communication. Tomorrow and Thursday is the call-in line, which every night you can call in, but it's tomorrow and Thursday is designated for teens and young adults who are struggling in aspects of life and just need somewhere to get advice, to talk, or even just to vent. And then Friday is all about life and breaking those cycles that whatever you're dealing with. You stop banging that head against the wall or the door and living the life that you want to live. And the show runs every night, Monday through Friday at 7 Eastern Time, 6 Central. And the call-in number is 714-816-4686. And we run a noon show, 12 Eastern Time. On Mondays, it is all about kindness and how having belief in something can help you through obstacles that you're facing in life. Tuesdays is Travel Tuesday with Rick Reese and Ron Clayton. And they talk about Surge 365 and how traveling can get how being a travel agent and using travel can aid better your health. taking time away from your life, but also how you can use it as residual income to bring hope to other areas. Wednesdays, I host a show called No Limits, and we talk about things that aren't discussed. Like what life is like as a single parent, or expectations and what life is like with special needs kids, females in the military, whatever. Nothing is all about. On Thursday, it's family time with Bob Oakley, and he talks about how faith has helped him in his life as a life coach and raising his kids and helping raise his grandchildren. And Friday is our special guest, Captain Len Kane, five-time Nobel Peace Prize nominee, humanitarian award recipient, and he talks about the Kindness Club and the Kindness Program that he has developed and we use on a regular basis, and different projects that he's working on with the Golden Rule Society. And today's show was all about conflict resolution, how understanding what arguments can do when you argue in front of your kids, and ways to resolve those arguments and take the time out. You can listen to our show on every podcast. Just go to Optimize My Life on Google, iHeart, Amazon, Audible, and we'd love to hear from you. Optimize My Life Facebook group or Facebook page. And that's the show for today. I look forward to talking to you and seeing you tomorrow. Have a good night and have a good week. Bye for now.